It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He bumped his head and felt in bed and couldn't get up in the morning. It's been a long time since I sang that. And the reason why I'm singing that is for two reasons. First of all, because it's raining outside. Second of all, because that song pretty much how I felt, or describes how I felt for the last 3-4 days. So, visiting my sister was difficult. Definitely physically exhausting, with my father and my sister, and then for a meal, my uncle and my mother, and then as well as my niece, my nephew, my dog, my sister's dog, and then both her cats. So there's just a lot going on, and the thing is, I don't know why, but it seems like my eyes are what get tired the quickest and the most intensely lately. I don't know why. Even though, the breathing issues are still there, still causing me trouble at night, it's really the eyes. During the day, that's what completely wipes me out for some reason. So I wake up like this in the morning, feel relatively well, assuming I had a good night, of course. And then it's just gradually throughout the day, I just get more and more worn out. And most of the time, by the time I get to the end of the day, I'm just completely exhausted. So that's kind of been the routine for the last few days since I've been back from my sister's. But it's starting to get better. So far, I've had one good day yesterday. Well, better. Good is always very subjective. So my new good is not the same old good that I used to have back in the day, but I'm kind of at my new, almost normal. Really looking forward to the dryness to go away because that is annoying, but it's slowly getting better. Been getting better over the last 2 weeks or so. So really looking forward to that being over because one, never fun to have trouble breathing. Two, never fun to have stuffy nose. Wow, why can't I talk today? Number three, not fun to bleed. And number four, it just kind of ends up drying up during my nose and my sinuses during the night. So there's always a period every couple hours, I'd say, where I have to wake up because I'm just too tired. Well, not too tired, I just have trouble breathing. So it wakes me up. And then I have to go through this whole process of just kind of blowing up my nose and filling it with oil, waiting a bit for it to not dry, but to soften, and then blow my nose, hopefully to get the biggest chunks out. And then, if necessary with the Kleenex, I can go and get leftover, but it's not a pleasant process. And then at the end, of course, I put more oil back in. It's just not a fun process to have to go through at least half a dozen times per night, So yeah, definitely not ideal. But to continue on the kind of wave that I started in the beginning of the video, now it's more like a James Brown song. I feel good, do-do-do-do-do, I do that I would now. So yeah, I feel more like that. Not fully back to normal, not my normal, level, but kind of my new normal. So I feel much, much better than I have in the last few days. And yesterday, that's really why I took a day off. I filmed a video from the day before that. So there's been 2 full days where I've been able to just, relax and rest and recover. And now I'm feeling okay, I'm finally starting to catch up on my rest, on my sleep, on my exhaustion, and everything else, which is very, very good because in the last few days, it was honestly one of the worst that I've dipped, feel how I feel since the beginning. There's been more intense periods, but this is just it's been lasting a while, and it just kind of it's fatigue. It's just it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates, and unless you manage to find a way to get rid of it, it's just always going to be there. And it's the less you're able to catch up, the more tired you get, and so on and so forth. And even if you're able to reverse that cycle a bit and start going in the other direction and start feeling better, it's going to take a long time before you're able to get there. And given my impending trip, I'm like, I really hope I get better by then, because at the moment, I'm not in a state to travel. Now, yes, now I am. But for the last couple of days, I was not. But it does feel good to be, back to normal. And I did go see my pneumologist a couple weeks ago. Well, not even weeks, a couple days ago at this point, last week. And he gave me a couple new pumps. So there's this, which, I use with every pump. Then there's this special one, which you kind of like clip open here, put in like all the other pumps, and then just like, activate it and press the button here. And then I have two more. So he re-prescribed the Ventolin once again, as well as another one. I don't remember the exact name. Hold on, let me check. So it's called, not inhaler, that doesn't help. No, that's the Ventolin. Wow. Yep. I guess I'm not fully back to normal yet. No, wait, that isn't the Ventolin. The other one's, the other one's over there. So it's not the Ventolin then. So, okay. I thought Zenhale was Ventolin, but anyway, whatever. He prescribed 2 new meds and renewed my Ventolin, which he paused before when I tried the new one. And he's like, I really think this one's going to work better given the symptoms and everything you're describing since the last time we spoke. I think this would be the best option, especially when you're traveling, because I've noticed that when I used to take Ventolin, it doesn't last that long, but it gives me a much higher sense of relief. So it's kind of like this series of ups and downs and ups and downs and upside downs, which is not ideal, which is why he prescribed the other one. The only thing is, the new one that he prescribed before he updated it was, I don't remember the name, but it was a type of powder instead of a kind of like a gas that you spray into your mouth. And apparently, it lasts much longer. So I just need to take it once in the morning, once at night, and then it covers me for the entire day, which it did. The only downside is, it was like, it lasted longer, but it was less intense. So it's like, there's still periods where I had trouble breathing as a result of that. And he's like, this new recipe, if you will, should help for that, should be better. And, since I'm traveling soon, I'm like, all right, let's get this taken care of now before I leave. I have, obviously a bunch more stuff to do on my on my list. So everything that's been, checked out is already done. A couple more in the back. But I tried to do the most important and the most pressing ones now. That way, if at the end I see like I can't wait anymore, I gotta go like now, then at least I don't have to worry about those things. The most important things have been taken care of. So it's like, stuff like call my bank. How does it work if ever I die? Like, does my wife get the money automatically? Do I need a notary? Can I just transfer it to her? Like, I don't know how that works. Like, I want to know all the different options to be ready in case that happens. I had to renew my passport, began that process, very long, complicated, as I explained in a previous video. So now I'm just waiting for it to be ready so I can go pick it up. That's going to be on the 10th, so there's no way I can fly before the 10th. I like to give at least a couple days in between just to make sure that I'm fully recovered and to make sure that if something goes wrong, I can still access my passport. Because right now, while I began that process, my old passport is no longer valid until I receive the new one. So I basically have no passport. So at this moment, it's literally impossible for me to travel. But, in a week or so, it's going to be ready on the 10th. So in a week or so, my passport should be ready. That is one of the biggest things. Another thing is something I need to handle regarding immigration. And unfortunately, I can't do it online. I have to do it in person because I need to mail it in. So I need to make sure that I get I get that taken care of before I leave. That and renewing the passport are the two most important things. Everything else is kind of like, yes, I would ideally like to do it. If I can't do it, whatever happens, happens, and I'll just leave behind whatever I have to leave behind. So other stuff would be like, file my taxes. So I began that process with my friend. So, hopefully within the next couple of days, I'll be able to sign the papers. Everything will be done. And then, relatively simple things like, cancel the electricity bill, the phone bill, internet bill, find someone else to take over my apartment. But I explain the entire situation to my landlord. He completely understands. He wants obviously to do what's best for me, for him, and for whoever takes over. So it's kind of like a little difficult. Sorry. It's just ironic that I'm coughing and I have like a Ventolin pump in my, not Ventolin, but asthma pump in my hand. By the way, in case you're wondering why I say pump, I don't know what the correct term in English is, pump or inhaler. I just say pump because when I had asthma when I was young, like I most of the time said it in French because I was living more in a French background back then. So I just said it in French, pump. So it's like, I don't know if the word pump also applies to this specifically in English. Kind of like the subway. It's like, okay, subway in English, metro in French, but it's like some people use it in English as well. So I'm like, I never really know. So yeah. Anyway, small sidetrack just because popped it in my head. So yeah, pretty much, other stuff like that. So still have some things to do, but they're not like life threatening or life, changing or anything like that. So it's like, if I'm able to find someone to take over the apartment who's willing to buy back the furniture, well, that's more money towards my budget, towards the travel, towards the expenses and everything else. So it's like, that would be ideal, but I'm not going to delay my travel by like a couple weeks or a month or whatever, for however long like that takes. That does not make sense. So for now, it's like there's just two things that I'm waiting on. Once that's kind of like done, I can be like, okay, cool. Reach out to the person who offered to pay for the ticket. Say like, hey, I'm ready. We're thinking of flying probably in about a week, something like that. So please, whenever you're ready, just let us know the date, let us know the times, send me the info, and then we'll be good from there. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff still to do, but important like things that I cannot live without. There's two things. There's the passport and there's that thing with immigration that I need to do here before I leave. Everything else is negligible to some degree. So I just kind of want to give you a little update on this situation. To me, like, because the thing is, I know sometimes when I'm feeling better, I record maybe 1 or 2 videos in advance. That way, on the days where I don't feel good, then I have a video that I can upload that day. And then if ever it lasts more than a day, then I'm like, I can post a message saying, hey, sorry, not feeling up to it. Can't post a video, but at least, it kind of fills in the gap. So sometimes it might be a little confusing as to the timeline. So just kind of brief explanation. Went to my sister's on Friday, stayed with her and my father on Saturday and Sunday, came back here on Sunday. Then Monday, was I feeling good on Monday yet or not? No, so Monday I was starting to feel like, okay, I need to recover. Let me just kind of take a break, not do too much, and hopefully, recover from the intense weekend that I just had. And that's what it did. I started feeling a little better. I'm like, okay, cool. I can start doing things again. And then I started doing things and it just like, bam, hits me. And I've been out of it for like 2 days at this point. So I'm really glad to be able to come out of that, to start feeling better. And yeah, I can't give you an exact date, an exact timeline on the trip. I will do an entire video covering everything in detail once I have the exact dates. It's just because of those 2 items, I cannot have a travel date yet because it's like, well, I could book my flight now. What if for some reason something happens, there's this delay with the passport and I can't get it in time and then I can't fly out. And it's like that person who donated that plane ticket loses their money. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk doing that. So it's like, I'm waiting as long as I can to make sure that everything goes right. without waiting so long that I waste time. So ironically, that was not a normal, cough. It was I leaned a little back a little far too much, and like a drop of like saliva went down my pipe, and I started choking. So it's normal coughing for once. Yeah, with all that, I lost the train of what I was saying, but yeah, I'll definitely keep you up to date as there's more news, as everything develops. My goal is really to focus and finish those 2 items as quickly as I can. Obviously, the passport, there's nothing I can do, it's out of my hands. But the other thing regarding immigration, like that is very, very important that it's done before I leave. So I'm going to try to do it today because I'm feeling relatively good. The thing is, I don't know how long it's going to take. I briefly looked things over. It seems like a couple of forms you need to fill out. Nothing too complicated. So it should be relatively simple, but this is immigration. You never know what to expect. So, it is what it is. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my family. I love you all very much. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. I feel like I'm not fully back to normal, but I feel like I'm kind of back to normal, and it feels good for a change. Even though I'm still getting used to the head, once, it's tan and I get a little sun, shouldn't be too bad. I kind of like the look. Because before, whenever I grow the beards, it would just kind of like look messy and dirty. But this, because the top is clean, I don't know, it just looks better, I find. So anyway, as I was saying, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being part of my YouTube family. I love you all very much. And the moment you've all been waiting for, will I miss the button? I did. Nice.